So someone was asking me about 911s recently on YouTube, and I said, my friend has a 911, why don't I make a video about one? My friend is actually over in Europe right now, and this car just came back from the body shop, so I picked it up and it's hanging out with me. And so it's a perfect opportunity to make this video. Let's discuss the 911. This is the 996 911. When I think of 996 911s, I think of blown M96 motors. That is the first thing that comes to my mind. Now the proof with these cars is in the resale. If you look at a 1998 Porsche 911, you might see it selling for $50,000. And if you look at a 1999 Porsche 911, you might see it selling for $15,000. With that being said, at $15,000, this car is one hell of a deal, and I really enjoy driving it, but you need to be aware of what you're getting into when you buy this car. I sort of think of cars as machines only. There is no emotion in cars at all for me. I see these automotive journalists using emotion as justification for making really bad decisions. We're not going to look at this emotionally. I know it might upset some people because some people on YouTube are emotional about this stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about this car on an honest level. Let's start with potential engine problems. Porsche tried to save money with this car in a lot of ways. One of those ways was using a single casting for both the left and the right cylinder head for the car. Now, you know that the timing chain runs through the cylinder head, and when you flip it over to the other side, what are you going to do at that point? You got chains on both sides of the motor. Well, you run this intermediate shaft down the center of the block to connect them, and then you got this bearing, the IMS bearing, and that is what is known to go out and bring down the whole motor. Rear main seal. The cylinder liner cracks, porous engine castings that allow the oil and the coolant to mix, chain tensioner failures, the little pads can rip apart, cylinder head cracks, oil system. The oil system can experience oil starvation under performance driving. The connecting rod bolts are known to fail at high RPM. They will let go, and then again your engine will catastrophically fail. And then also we have the air oil separator failures. There are an insane amount of things that can go wrong with this car, but we can address some of them. What do? You drop the motor out. You can get in there and you can replace the IMS bearing, and then you say, well, I'm replacing the IMS bearing, so I might as well replace those tensioner pads too. And then you say, well, maybe I'll replace that air oil separator too. And then you notice that the clutch is out, so you might as well throw a new clutch in there too. And the bill just keeps adding up and up and up. And this is a German car, so the costs are high. You're in the thousands of dollar range. You just realize that you spent a busload of money trying to prevent a problem that you don't even know if you had. And so that's the story of the Porsche owner right there. Now my thought on this is that this car is so cheap now, you buy it and then you take an extra $10,000 and you set it aside in a brokerage account and let it earn interest. And then when your engine does fail, then you go back to your brokerage account that you set up for your Porsche and you access that money and you buy a used motor off one of these sites. I've seen the motors go for about $6,000 at the low end, $10,000 at the high end. And you throw the motor in there, and usually they come with a warranty. I think that's the best way to go. Porsche's cost cutting didn't end with the engine, and there's lots of articles on the net that you can read about this car where all these people complain about all the cost cutting things that Porsche did with it. What you need to take away though is that for the original base price of around $70,000, this car was sort of a piece of shit. They've depreciated so much today that they've sort of become a bargain, so the tables have turned. So let me be really honest with this car. I really like driving it. I love these cars. The pedal box is very close, heel-toe shifting is easy, the transmission is very smooth. Also, you have the engine in the back, which I'm not a huge fan about, but it is a different experience, and so I like that. But then I ask myself, would I buy one? When I look into buying something, I always run the numbers, would I buy one? And the answer with this is no, I wouldn't buy one. It's not worth it. Not even at today's prices. I will not touch this car. I know that with my bad luck, I would experience an engine failure. And now it's important to note that the Turbo, the GT2, and the GT3 have better engines and they won't experience these catastrophic failures. But what I've learned with the expensive cars is I don't like driving expensive cars around on the street. How do I think of these cars? I think of Porsches like boats and airplanes. I love boats. I love flying airplanes. I wouldn't own one myself, Boats and airplanes and Porsches are cool for your friends and family to own because you still get to enjoy it, but you don't have to pay for it. So that's the way to do it. Convince your friend to buy one, and then from time to time you get to enjoy it. My thought on this car is to save your money and buy a car. Don't buy a car to impress other people, buy a car to impress yourself. That will make you the most happy, the most satisfied with what you're doing with your life. Don't buy something like this to make yourself look cool or whatever image you're going for. You're certainly not buying this thing for the performance because there's much better options out there. Beware of the Porsche. That's all I have to share with you guys. So that's the 996 in a nutshell. Thank you for watching and enjoy your car.